Good evening. The January 9th, 2019 meeting of the Long Branch City Council will now come to order. Roll call.
Mr. Dangler?
Here.
Mr. Vieira?
Here.
Dr. Vogt will be absent this evening. Dr. Selly?
Here.
And Mrs. Wittes.
Here. And I'd like to say Happy New Year to everyone. Will we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
I hereby certify that this meeting has been published in the newspaper in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and posted as required by law.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to call up Mayor Pallone to swear in the 2019 fire chiefs.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone, and thank you all for being here this evening. Tonight we'll continue the tradition of swearing in the new fire chiefs for the city of Long Branch. We'd like to thank them both for their continued service over the years. And although Chief Stout and Chief Guidetti have been here before, I just wanted to briefly share some information about them. Chief Kevin Stout began his service as a volunteer firefighter in Howell Township in 1978. He was a police officer in Howell from 1979 to 2009, and in 2010 he became captain of the Neptune Hose Company here in Long Branch and made his way through the ranks. In 2018, he was sworn in as First Assistant Chief. Kevin is notably the recipient of numerous fire service citations, commendations, and service awards that include the 200 Club Award and the FMBA Local 68 Man of the Year. First Assistant Chief Ronald Guidetti has lived in Long Branch for the past 30 years with his wife, 5 children, and 2 grandchildren. He joined the Long Branch Fire Department in 1979 and continued to move up through the ranks. Ron is also a career firefighter at Fort Monmouth and chaired the Fire Apparatus Committee for the Department of Army Fire Apparatus from 1995 to 2015. So again, gentlemen, thank you for all your service, and we're so happy to have you here in Long Branch. So I'd like to first call up our new fire chief, Kevin Stout, to come up and receive his oath, and I guess I'm going to hold the Bible for you. I appreciate that Chief Stout had asked me to do this the first time, so bear with me as well. Okay, and Chief, if you please raise your right hand and place your left hand on the Bible and repeat after me. I, Kevin Stout,
I, Kevin Stout,
do solemnly swear
that
I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
and
to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of fire chief for the Long Branch Fire Department according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Thank you, Chief. I'd like to call up new Second Assistant Fire Chief Ronald Guidetti. And holding the Bible will be his wife Robin and grandson Carmelo. Chief Guidetti, if you could please raise your right hand, place your left hand on the Bible, and repeat after me. I, Ronald Guidetti,
Moncadetti,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established in the United
and
States
to the governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of Second Assistant Fire Chief
all the duties of Second Assistant Fire Chief
for the Long Branch Fire Department
for the Long Branch Fire Department
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, Chief. Congratulations. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you all for being here
Congratulations, gentlemen.
to swear in the chiefs.
Congratulations. 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 You're welcome.
Thank you.
Council President, are you coming over or should I
No,
sit back?
no.
Okay.
At this time, it gives us great pleasure to announce the names of employees who have served 25 years or more. When I call your name, please come up to receive your certificate of recognition. And Mayor, will you help me give these out?
Sure.
Angie Towns, Health Department, 47 years. And Angie just received recognition 2 weeks ago as our Employee of the Month. And we'd like to congratulate her. Next is Deborah Tallarico, City Clerk's Office, 43 years. Patricia Cinto Krasnicki, Senior Center, 39 years. Kathleen McNulty, Health Department, 38 years. Mary Ann Lumia, Public Works, 37 years. Tara Oakrose, Personnel, 36 years. Mary Cooper, Crossing Guard, 35 years. Thomas Nine, Public Works, 34 years. Annie Cox, Crossing Guard, 31 years. Kathy Schmeltz, City Clerk, 30 years. Mary Cox, Crossing Guard, 30 years. George Hussey Jr., Fire Prevention, 29 years. Gina Robitelli, Fire Department, 27 years. Martha Bavona, Purchasing, 27 years. Janet Burkhead, Library, 27 years. Linda Hurden, Health Department, 27 years. Carol Dean, Crossing Guard, 27 years. Thomas Siciliano, Fire Inspector, 27 years. Michelle Coretta, Crossing Guard, 26 years. Shannon Bruno, Recreation, 25 years. Jacob Jones, Community Development, 25 years. Robert Shamrock, Police Department, 25 years. And Frank Morey, Police Department, 25 years. The Mayor and Council want to express our personal appreciation for your achievement of this milestone. Loyal and dedicated employees like you are the foundation of the city's success. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Congratulations. 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 Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thanks for your years of service.
Congratulations.
And I was here when the baby was born.
Thank you.
Okay? That's all right.
I'd say 2-on-1 is good. Thank you.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
George got to step down.
Good job, man.
Thank you, Mitch. Thank you.
Thank you. There you go. Good luck. Thanks for your years of service.
So they get this and that.
Yours, good to see you.
Thanks for your years of
No.
service.
Next, I'd like to call up employees who have retired in 2018. If you're in the audience, please come forward when your name is called. Georgiana Barone, Joseph Brenna, George Siri,
There you go.
Alonza Cox,
Good.
Hey, Judge. That's a fine.
thank you. Thank you. Kevin King,
Thank you so much.
Michael McLennan, Frank Ravishir,
go to Portugal.
Been there, he loves it there.
Yeah.
He's been there.
Bless you. Congratulations. Thank you. Timothy Summers.
Congrats.
Craig Spencer.
Congrats, man.
Oh. Hi.
Thank you. Marlo Tatum.
Thanks for all your work.
Did you teach him that
Coming back to work? Sure. Good luck.
Congrats.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thanks for all your
Carl Turner.
Thank you. Carl up there.
Carl, thank you. Thank you. Good luck to you.
Thanks, Carl. You're not done with us yet. I tell you that.
Robert Weiner.
Thanks, Carl. We're gonna miss you.
I was told not to let you leave the building.
Here. And Gloria Winnick. The mayor and council applaud the determination and effort you have demonstrated during your time with us. Thank you all for the motivation and encouragement you've given throughout the years. Congratulations on your retirement. We wish you nothing but the best. Thank you.
Nice job. That's not easy to do.
Reading and approval of the previous minutes. I need a motion to approve the minutes of December 26, 2018.
No move.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Dangler?
Yes.
Mr. Viera?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes. Consideration of ordinances, public hearing and final consideration. This is the second reading of ordinance number 38-18 entitled An Ordinance Amending Chapter 293 Solid Waste and Recycling of the Code of the City of Long Branch, Bulky Waste. This ordinance was introduced on December 26, 2018. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? If there's anyone in the audience that has a comment to make regarding this ordinance, please step to the microphone and state your name and address clearly for the record. You will have 5 minutes and may only speak once. Seeing none. I need a motion to close.
So move.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This is the third reading of ordinance 30-18, entitled an ordinance amending Chapter 293, Solid Waste and Recycling, of the Code of the City of Long Branch, Bulky Waste. I need a motion to adopt on third and final reading and advertise according to law.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dangler?
Yes.
Mr. Viera?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes. This is the second reading of ordinance 31-18, entitled an ordinance amending Chapter 293, Solid Waste and Recycling, of the Code of the City of Long Branch, Brush. This ordinance was introduced on December 26, 2018. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is there anyone in the audience that has a comment to make regarding the ordinance? Please step to the microphone and state your name and address clearly for the record. You'll have 5 minutes and may only speak once. No? I need a motion to close.
So move.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This is the third reading of ordinance 31-18, entitled an ordinance amending Chapter 293, Solid Waste and Recycling, of the Code of the City of Long Branch, Brush. I need a motion to adopt on third and final reading and advertise according to law.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dangler?
Yes.
Mr. Viera?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes. This is the second reading of ordinance 32-18, entitled an ordinance amending and supplementing an ordinance authorizing the City of Long Branch to lease space for fire trucks from privately owned volunteer fire companies in the City of Long Branch. This ordinance was introduced on December 26, 2018. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? If there is anyone in the audience that has a comment to make regarding the ordinance, please step to the microphone and state your name and address clearly for the record. You have 5 minutes and may only speak once. I need a motion to close.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This is the third reading of ordinance 32-18, entitled an ordinance amending and supplementing an ordinance authorizing the City of Long Branch to lease space for the fire trucks from privately owned volunteer fire companies in the City of Long Branch. I need a motion to adopt on third and final reading and advertise according to law.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dangler?
Yes.
Mr. Viera?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes. This is the second reading of ordinance 33-18, entitled an ordinance granting a 5-year tax exemption to David Suckoff for a development project on property located at 31 Ocean Terrace and designated as Block 302, Lot 17.02. This ordinance was introduced on December 26, 2018. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? If there's anyone in the audience that has a comment to make regarding this ordinance, please step to the microphone and state your name and address clearly for the record, and you will have 5 minutes, may only speak once. I need a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This is the third reading of ordinance 33-18, entitled an ordinance granting a 5-year tax exemption to David Suckoff for a development project on property located at 31 Ocean Terrace and designated as Block 302, Lot 17.02. I need a motion to adopt on third and final reading and advertise according to law.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dangler?
Yes.
Mr. Viera?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes. This is the second reading of ordinance 34-18, entitled an ordinance granting a 5-year tax exemption to Marcelo Gruberg for a development project on property located at 90 Ocean Terrace and designated as Block 301.03, Lot 20. This ordinance was introduced on December 26, 2018. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? If there is anyone in the audience that has a comment to make regarding this ordinance, please step to the microphone and state your name and address clearly for the record. You will have 5 minutes and may only speak once. I need a motion to close.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This is the third reading of ordinance 34-18, entitled an ordinance granting a 5-year tax exemption to Marcelo Gruberg for a development project on property located at 90 Ocean Terrace and designated as Block 301.03, Lot 20. I need a motion to adopt on third and final reading and advertise according to law.
So move.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dangler?
Yes.
Mr. Viera?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes. There are no ordinances for introduction this evening. At this time, I need a motion to open the public portion of the meeting for all comments.
So
So
moved.
move.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? If anyone in the audience has any comments to make, please step to the microphone and state your name and address clearly for the record. You will have 5 minutes and may only speak once.
Request 1-minute notification, Vincent Lepore, 33 Ocean Terrace, Long Branch. Mr. Raynone, per your statements at the December 12th council meeting on the hearing of the council, the carousel ordinance, you referenced subdivision maps. I offered a copy of your mentioned subdivision maps. Again, on the 12th, you referenced the maps. The date I was issued the response to the OPR, I looked at the map. Mr. Raynone, no map existed the night of December 12th when you spoke, because 2 days after that council meeting, this map was drawn up
That's not the subdivision map.
of Insight Engineering.
Not the subdivision map. The subdivision map was, you opened 4 documents. You got a subdivision map with the dedication on it. You got an ordinance accepting the dedication. That's the exhibit to the carousel lease, which shows where the lease is. And also there's a meets and bounds description of that. The subdivision map you got because the
The
clerk's office gave it
subdivision
to
maps
you.
were part of the ordinance.
That's
Mr.
not the
Raynone,
subdivision map. It's not the
this
subdivision.
map of block 222.01 is dated 12/14.
It is. It's the,
2 days after the ordinance was adopted by
it's the-
council.
It's the attachment to the carousel lease.
You have no
but that's not the
credibility, Mr.
subdivision.
Raynone. You can explain it after my 5 minutes.
More than happy to do that, sir.
Mr. Raynone, on 12/17/18, I offered a deed for Pier Village Urban Development LLC. I received an answer from you today. That answer is insufficient. The fact is, you stated in those circumstances, the file map and dedication acceptance as evidence of recorded ordinances effectuate the transfer, and there is no need for a deed. That's the most ridiculous and unacceptable answer I've ever heard. Mr. Raynone, does a clear title exist to Block 22201, Lot 1.02, yes or no?
Yes,
It does.
it does.
You're wrong.
There you go.
Mr. Raynone, in order for there to be a clear and marketable title to Block 22201, Lot 1.02, as in the ordinance for the city, if it ever decides to sell the property, the city would have to show a chain of title where the city obtained the possession. That chain does not exist. From the public record to the public record in freehold, on November 12, 2015, Applied LWAG transferred the entire Pier Village 3 tract to Pier Village 3 Urban Renewal LLC for $20 million. Ocean First Bank then extended $12 million mortgage to Pier Village 3. On November 19, 2015, and took as collateral the entire Phase 3 tract. Subsequent to that loan, Pier Village Phase 3 subdivided the parcel into Blocks 222 and Block 222-01. The fact is, the supposed Block 222.01, Lot 1.02, is partly on the old Fountains Hotel property. Part of Block 222.01, Lot 1.02, is still owned by Pier Village 3 Urban Renewal Company and still held as collateral by Ocean First Bank as per records in freehold. Ocean First Bank issued a partial release of mortgage premises, but only for Block 222.01, Lot 1.01. Ocean First Bank still has a portion of Block 222.01, Lot 1.02 as part of its collateral on its $12 million loan and would have to issue a second partial release of mortgage premises. There is no clear title to this, Mr. Raynone. At the last council meeting, I talked about Team Pallone with lack of credibility for failing to answer the question on your platform during the campaign of no new tax abatements, particularly for new developer Kushner on Broadway. What we have tonight from the Team Pallone administration is incompetence on the part of Attorney Raynone. Council, I'll say it again, I'm not going to be played for as a fool, but you are played for as fools, deservedly so. It's junk government.
Council President, I think it's necessary for me to give this answer, which I've given before.
Sure.
There are a number of ways that municipalities acquire property. One of the ways is by deed, but a very common way is by the filing of a filed map that shows a dedication. So, for instance, if you went to the tax assessor's office, you would not find a lot and block for any roadway in the city that's owned by the city. And the reason you wouldn't find that is because most of those roadways were created by filed maps. So somebody gets a subdivision, they file a map, laid out maps and streets, and they offer those, and those roads are are dedicated to the city for public purposes. That's exactly what happened here. So Mr. Lepore talks about, I don't expect him to understand title searches and deeds and all of those things. But on one of the documents that I gave him was the recorded subdivision map, which was recorded in the county clerk's office on March 17, 2018. And it clearly shows on it Road A, which shows the area that is to be dedicated to the city for public purposes. Shortly thereafter, the city adopted an ordinance which accepted the dedication of those roadways. So at that point in time, the city owned the property. That ordinance and the subdivision map is filed in the county clerk's office. By the way, if you go to the county clerk's office, you could find that subdivision map. It's recorded, and it actually, the document that I sent to Mr. Lepore has all of the recording information, so you could go find it. As they also did is they recorded the ordinance accepting it. So now the city owned it. So the carousel lease is part of that property. I talked to the tax assessor's office after the first time that Mr. Lepore asked this question and asked them how they were going to handle that issue. Now, Mr. Lepore says, well, I can't find that lot and block. He's correct, because that lot and block is created administratively because it's all on the city property. So the next document that he had that he was waiving that he said was a subdivision map, of course, is not the subdivision map. It's the attachment to the carousel lease that shows where the Lot 2 is now located. And also the other document that I gave him was the meets and bounds description. So the documents that he was talking about the financing and all of those things, you would have to go match up the meets and bounds descriptions on the two deeds to see where that property was given to the city by dedication. So once again, if you went and did a title search, you would not be able to find the deed for Broadway, for instance. But what you would find at some point in time is a filed map that shows a filed map that's filed and recorded in the county clerk's office that creates Broadway and dedicates it to the city. You may not even find, because not always is this done, is there an acceptance of that dedication, but the fact that it's done on a filed map effectuates the transfer. So I think that Mr. Lepore Oprah request was for a deed, I believe that I responded to the clerk's office either yesterday or maybe even today and indicated to him that this is how the property was acquired. So, you know, I understand that these are complicated issues. There probably are 20 different ways that municipalities acquire property. It's a 5-hour seminar for me to go through that. It's not necessary. But needless to say, the documents in question, you know, all of which were in the records of the city and recorded in the county clerk's office. It's just that if you went to the county clerk's office and looked in the book that says deeds, you wouldn't find roadway vacations. If you looked in the book of roadway vacations, you wouldn't find filed subdivision maps. But they're all recorded in the county. And the answer to the question is that if you were going to do a title search on this property, what you would find is that there's a subdivision map that's recorded in the county clerk's office. The recording information, which if I put my glasses on, I could tell you it was recorded in the county clerk's office, signed by Chris Hanlon, filed, and I think officially stamped 3/17/2018. So you would find all those documents, and that, of course, map is signed by the county planning board, the planning board secretary here, the engineers and everything, and is recorded. So a title search would disclose that. That's what a title company would do. And I've done, you know, real estate transactions for 40 years, and I don't think I qualify to be a title searcher. It's not what I do for a living. It's a very technical thing. But the answer to the question is, these maps they're all recorded maps. They're all created. I think I asked it wasn't done at the time, but I asked the tax assessor to make sure that they created administratively the Lot 2, because that is the reference in both the redevelopment agreement and also the carousel lease, so that it's clear into the future. But once again, as I said, if you went to do a title search to find out, you know, any road in the city, what the lot and block is, you won't find any, because if you looked at on a tax map, you'll see that the roads, of course, don't have lot and block designations. And that's why if you go and ask for a lot and block designation on a piece of property that's dedicated, that you wouldn't see it. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
You're incorrect, Mr. Reno, and I do know what I'm doing, and you answered yes
Mr.
to a
LaFleur?
clear title on a property that has no
Mr.
clear
LaFleur,
title.
You had your turn. Please sit down.
He's wrong.
Please sit down. Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that has any comments?
Good evening. My name is Renee Moore. I live in Long Branch. My reason for coming to Long Branch, I'll say good evening, City Council and Mayor Pallone. My reason for coming to Long Branch initially was to retire to the ocean. Before moving, I went to the internet to learn about Monmouth County, and is listed as one of the wealthiest counties in New Jersey. Once moved, to my dismay, I discovered that the YMCA listed on the internet no longer exists. I eventually joined the YMCA in Red Bank, and finding it an easier drive, then joined the JCC in order to get some much-needed exercise and health care. With my ear to the ground, I heard from residents that people had basically two things on their mind at that time. They had a mayor for 28 years that they were ready to get rid of, and they wanted a mayor that would not sell out to special interests, someone in which people put their trust in, would make a difference in the community they pay taxes in. I then discovered by attending city council meetings that the $1 million condos with 5-year tax abatement are being built all along the oceanfront, with expansion of Pier Village by Kushner Properties and Friends. Not only ruins the natural environment, but destroys a view of the ocean for seniors and others living nearby. I am now shocked to find that these same people are taking control of South Broadway, Long Branch, as well, with no real indication that affordable housing, low-income housing, or a facility for Long Branch residents to have a pool is on the table. A pool is paramount, especially for seniors. According to the 2010 census, there are approximately 3,700 to 4,000 tax-paying seniors in Long Branch, some living on a fixed income with various health issues. A pool would be and is essential for their health and longevity. I'm sure, Dr. Selly, you and I both have a handicap. I could certainly use the pool, having had major surgery on my knee. And I'm sure Mayor Pallone, who's had, I believe, heart surgery, I haven't been here that long in Long Branch, could use the pool, use of a pool themselves. I'm trying to figure out why tax abatement is being done when that would have been revenue could be used. A pool would be essential for the health and longevity. I said that. Sorry. Though it appears the cat's out of the bag when negotiating for a pool facility for builders along Ocean Avenue, but certainly any new deal, specifically the development coming up on Broadway, would at least include obtaining financial support for a full pool facility, public pool facility within the city. Consideration for a pool either as an extension of the existing senior center on 2nd Avenue or the building of a full YMCA or JCC facility within the city of Long Branch. I trust that a pool facility would be consideration when sitting down to negotiate any construction within the confines of the city of Long Branch. It seems to me, as well as to other citizens, that any and all tax abatements take away from needed revenue that might otherwise be used to build such a facility. The questions I have now before City Council are there plans on the table for a community or public facility with a pool? If so, if not, why not? And does the development on South Broadway include green space, benches, and the development for low-income affordable housing? I will end my 5 minutes early in order to give the mayor and city council an opportunity to respond. Please. Thank you.
Ms. Moore, I can tell you without getting specific that we just had a meeting last week, the business administrator and I, and one of the topics of that conversation was exactly you're talking about a pool. I can also tell you that I know that it's a priority for Council President Witta. She's mentioned it to me many times, as well as all of the council members. So the answer to that is, you know, it's an expensive proposition. It's something that's important to us. It's something that we would certainly like to see and would like to make an effort to do that. Please don't, you know, interpret that as, yes, we're going to do it by any way, but, you know, simply saying that it's definitely something we would like to see. And again, I can tell you that we just had a conversation where a significant amount of that time spent on that was in that discussion.
Do you agree at all, though, that that tax abatement money could be used to better the city of Long Branch for all its citizens? I can't imagine giving the rich a 5-year tax abatement when that's money that we could use as seniors. Seniors pay taxes. They've given their life to their city and their country. I can't imagine that West Long Branch, nor I guess Asbury, nor City of Long Branch has a Y. I mean, it just seems to be basic. And I would appreciate it if City Council and all the powers that be within the sound of my voice would take seriously that we need a community facility with a pool somehow. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. And I will add that another part of that conversation was about senior housing.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, good evening. Patty Veracchi, 246 Jerome Avenue, Oakhurst. In honor of Martin Luther King Week, I was looking up some quotes that I thought might inspire some thoughts at this council meeting. And there were two that came to mind. The first one says, "Our lives begin to end the day that we become silent about things that matter." And again, in thinking about the last council meeting, how some of the responses were, that was one of my thoughts. The other quote, "In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." I look up at this council and, or not just the council, but the administration sitting up here, and also the audience and the people who came and left the building already. And I do look at them, all of you, as friends. We've grown up together. We've done many events together, even just being here at the council meetings, we've gotten to know each other. And it really saddens me when concerns are met with silence. I know that there's always been some tension between some of the things that some members speak up about, but being silent on it, I don't think is the answer. I think communication is where we have to really make it our goal, especially since I think during campaigning, I felt that that was a promise that you guys made, to be sincere, transparent, and to be friends. That being said, there was some papers that were Oprah'd concerning the confidential assistant, which on a few past council meetings we discussed, maybe not myself, but others that were interested in knowing whether that position had been advertised. So there's two Oprah papers in front of me that show that there was no advertising that was done for that position. Can you explain that a little?
Sure. I mean, I can tell you what I know, Patty, so let's start with, and again, Mr. Ranone, I know this is, we have to be careful about talking about personnel issues, so if you'll let me know. So the person who was the assistant to the administrator, I believe left around Christmas time of last year, not this 18, obviously, the year before, 17.
Right.
And I was informed today that actually that position was, there was an advertisement posted for that, is that right, Ms. Schmeltz?
In 2017?
In 2017, that's correct. And then you would have to ask the former business administrator as to why that position was never filled, and it wasn't, obviously. And when I took over in July 1st, I mean, the former business administrator indicated that he needed to hire someone, but I don't really know why he did not prior to him mentioning it to me when I came into office. But we clearly needed someone. And in terms of the person in question, yes, that.
Okay.
In terms of the person in question.
Okay.
Was there something you wanted to add, Patty, or?
No,
you want me to
I would
just
like
continue?
to hear
Okay.
you finish.
So in terms of the employee in question, yes, we did not post that position. They're absolutely right. I was informed that I did not need to post the position. And, I guess I'll include Mr. Lepore in the conversation.
Yeah,
because
please.
he was, I know,
He was the one that Oprah'd
I was
for
on the
us.
phone, right, and he did the Oprah request. So yes, we needed someone. We filled it without going out because I was informed that we did not to. Mr. Ranone would confirm that. And yes, it was no secret that the employee worked for Mr. Jackson and was a highly qualified, skilled individual, trusted individual who had worked for him for about 5 years. And in fact, upon his leaving Eatontown, she was temporarily the assistant business administrator. I met with the employee twice. 2 council members met with the employee twice, and I had a conversation with all council members, and we all agreed that she would be a good fit for the city, as well as obviously Mr. Jackson, where she came highly recommended. There was some urgency to this. To be honest with you, I don't know if I would have done a search anyway, because we were very happy and glad she could come on board. So, I hope that answers your question.
Okay. Thank you. My time is up by now, so I'll pick it up again next time. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
Excuse me, I won't even use 5 minutes, I don't think.
Good evening,
But,
Reverend.
Good evening, Reverend.
My name is Reverend Bennett, and I've been in Long Branch all my life. And I was talking to some of the people in Asbury Park. And just like they say, silence is consent. And the people, the residents in Long Branch are practically cut off from the beach. There's no reason why there have to be two standards, and they have to be the people that are buying the property. If they would include the residents, that would be good. But the planning and things that they're doing are for their proteges, for their group. And if we've been in Long Branch most of our lives, I think that when the city council comes together and these plans are submitted to them, they should consider the residents of Long Branch, because they are not included in these plans. They don't have access. In the summertime, they can go to the beach, but they really don't have access to the beach. And now they're getting greater and larger, and that's not fair. For them to be in Long Branch and be a resident and hardly get there. And how many people from the city of Long Branch is going to go to Pier Village and buy an ice cream cone for $5 or $6 with one scoop? Thank you. I mean, it's not fair to the people that live here that we should not be included. And it's very sad. It's really sad. And I just think that with the tax exempt that the people are getting just to build, and here all of us are paying our guts out to pay their taxes and keep their property up, and they get a certain deduction, but they're getting more than a certain deduction. Some even got 30 years. I mean, some of the things that are going on is as though as Long Branch has been sold out to the highest bidder. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Is there anyone else? No? Sorry.
Go ahead, Mr. Canoli. I don't.
I usually like to keep going, right? No? Hi, Ernest Mignoli, Asbury Park, born on 2nd Avenue in Long Branch.
Mr. McNally, can you just raise the microphone a little
Sure.
bit? Thank you.
You heard me, though? Okay. You know, it's interesting to sit here and listen to people talk about pools and things, and I, of course, went to Kramer and Chelsea Pool, and you didn't need much money. It was like anybody could afford it. You know, we went through those tunnels to the beach. Everything was affordable. It was a different city. I mean, it was a city for everybody who lived here, and not like it is now. So I can identify with that. I can identify with what the Reverend said. You know, I've kind of straddled two cities, Asbury and Long Branch. In 2007, when I was looking for property here, it was a little too pricey. So I bought something overpriced, but a lot less money in Asbury. Otherwise, I would have been here, you know, where I'm born and raised. But interestingly, I like Mr. Scarano, who's deceased now. I tend to like to go to both council meetings because it is the only two cities in Monmouth County. And the dynamics of these cities are such that if you've been around, I'm around 70 years, if you've been around a long time, you start to see patterns where like administrations come and go, developers come and go, contractors come and go, investors come and go, city attorneys come and go, et cetera, mayors. Well, they don't go so much, but sadly, but so you come upon can you give me a 1 minute warning, please, Ms. Mills? Thank you. So I try to go to both meetings. I just came from the Asbury meeting, and here I am in this meeting, and you know, it's the same exact issue. We now just put up a monster of a building right on Ocean Avenue. It's called the Ocean Club.
I mean, ground floor facing street in the back units started $1 million. And then they quietly didn't tell anybody, but they took our north boardwalk and they just ripped it out, putting in like what we did here with the what was it called? What was the thing that was supposed to be given to the city forever for our use? What was it? The Armory. The Armory. The Armory was supposed to be for us, and somehow it winds up now a Caviar Popcorn Beach Club. So, how all the minute? So how all these things just happen is interesting, because when you come here to try and sort of fend for yourself and fight for your family and your rights and your heritage, it's almost like adversarial. Like, the city council seems like a nice gentleman and his predecessor, but you have to realize the city council is hired to kind of protect you guys and everything you're doing. So it's not like we, the city, and Asbury or Long Branch, we have a lawyer to protect us. See, so it's like you kind of got the purse strings, you got the vote, you got the lawyers, you got the developers, you got everything. And then you got a bunch of us who come in here and say, oh, please let us go on our beach. And it's sort of like, well, we're working on it. No, we're working on it, We're going to clean up Tackanassie Lake, don't worry. We're going to clean it up. You could wait a lifetime. I only have 28 years left. Minnie yet?
Yes.
Yes?
Right now.
Thank you. So 28 years, what's going to happen? Nothing's going to change for me. So I'm a little dismayed that you keep coming and it's the same thing, and you think, well, when everything changes and you get a whole new, like, of the people, for the people kind of group, that's the way it's going to be. I'll tell you the truth, and don't take it personal, but me sitting here with the other administration and me sitting here with this administration, I feel we're getting the same deal, only different. And I don't mean that as an insult, but I mean, come on, you look at Ocean Avenue. I don't know what you're building there. Like, was it going to be Las Vegas? Who wants that? It's terrible, and it's getting worse. And by the way, I understand that the developer who he gave 100% use of the basement and that Brighton Avenue thing was down with the Attorney General now. They may not go along with that. That wasn't really something that was, Mr. Lepore was spot on about that. And then tax exemptions, more tax exempt homes. Yeah, half the homes in Long Branch are going to be tax exempt. I'm done? Thank you.
Hello, it's Lori Ann Vendetti, 33 and 38 Ocean Terraces. Happy New Year to you. I wasn't getting up, but I have to address some of the tax abatement issues. I'm from Matosa. If you don't know what that is, that's Marine Terrace, Ocean Terrace, Seaview Avenue. We fought for the eminent domain battle to keep our homes over, since 2002 we fought, well, actually 1995 on. Those tax abatements that just went through today on those two houses, those five years tax abatements, that was blood, sweat, and tears of my parents and everyone in that community. So those tax abatements are just. I don't think anything, I don't know the logistics of it, but the Kirshner tax abatements and the South Broadway stuff, you guys inherited that stuff. They didn't agree on that. That fell in their lap, and they have to deal with the contracts they have. Going forward, if you do a 30-day tax abatement, then we could yell at you. I don't know if I'm right on that, but I think you inherited all that stuff. What I actually really was thinking about today is my issues are the parking at Ocean Terrace. I don't know if the chief has come up with some kind of permit parking for the summer. Summer's going to come around pretty soon. And the beach. The beach is, I don't know if there's anything you could do about it, and I don't know how many people it affects. It affects me. I was on the beach the other day, and a friend of mine called and said, "You were on News 12." I'm like, "How was I on News 12?" And I was walking my dogs, and News 12 took a picture of me, and I was their headline for the weather the whole night. over and over and over. Me and my Giants jacket and my 3 dogs. And I bring that up because I walk my dogs on the beach a lot. And from May to October, you can't walk your dogs on the beach. And I would beg you to try to change that policy, like from 6, 7 o'clock at night in the summertime, that we could walk our dogs on the beach. It's hard to walk your dog on that promenade because there's so many people walking, not the promenade, on the tarmac. There's bikes and there's so many other people walking their dogs, and it's really crowded in the summer, which is great for the city, but it's not good for people walking their dogs. Now it's great. I walk my dogs down, it doesn't matter where I am on the tarmac where the bikes are. But in the summertime, it's really, really dangerous, and I have 3. So it's other dogs coming towards you. If we had the opportunity to just go on the beach after everyone's finished sunbathing, I don't think that's too much to ask in the summertime, because we miss the nice time, the nice weather. I'm walking my dogs on the beach at nighttime in the wintertime, but as a tax-paying citizen, it would be nice to have that luxury to go on the beach at night. I know it's maybe a silly thing for some people, but it's important to me. Just something to think about.
Thank you. We'll look into it. Thank you. Is there anyone else? No? Okay. I need a motion to close the public participation portion of this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We can take the listed resolutions as a consent agenda. May I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Dangler?
Yes.
Mr. Viera?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes. At this time, I'd like to give the council the opportunity to speak. Councilman Dangler?
No, I just would like to wish that everyone has a prosperous 2019 and certainly a safe one.
Thank you. Councilman Vieira?
Yes, I would like to thank, first I would like to congratulate the chiefs, Kevin Stout and Ronald Gadetti. They're great guys, and I'd like to congratulate them. I also like to congratulate all the employees of the city of Long Branch that were here today. Without them, Long Branch is blessed to have people like that working for them. And to Mrs. Bennett, I want you to know that this administration is doing everything we can for the things that you spoke of. And for the people of Long Branch, yes, we do need more. And I'd just let you know that when we did the carousel lease agreement, we got all the kids to go for Long Branch for half price. So a lot of things fell on our lap, like Lori said, and we're trying to handle them, but a lot of times our hands are tied. But we are working on that, and we will try, I guarantee you. Thank you, and good night.
Councilwoman Selly?
I have a couple things I'd like to say tonight. The first one is today is Law Enforcement Day, and I'd like to congratulate and thank all the people that work in that field and thank them for their service. Second of all, the 2 chiefs, I'd like to congratulate them again. We've seen them before, and they've done a good job. Not this weekend, but the following weekend is the services for Martin Luther King weekend, and they are already, I believe, published on the website. So please plan to attend some of the services. They have an excellent meal on that Friday for soul food, so I'd like to see a lot more people get involved. And I think that's it, except that I'd like to wish everybody a Happy New Year.
Thank you. Mayor Pallone?
Sure. Yes, I'd like to thank everybody for coming this evening and participating in the meeting. There's a few things I'd just like to report. Tonight, you'll see that there was an adoption of a new bulk waste and brush schedule. So more information about this schedule will follow in the coming weeks, but we believe this new schedule will bring cleaner streets to the city of Long Branch. Our goal for changing this schedule is to have more efficient DPW department, offering more services to the residents and to have some cleaner streets. More time will be allotted to have services such as the street sweeper and leaf vacuuming available in the community. Any questions or concerns about that? Because it does get complicated, and I have it here, but I'm not going to spend the time to read it, but please feel free to call DPW if you don't know the number. It's just 732-571-6520. Also, on January 19th, Council Vice President Sully was referring to the Martin Luther King events here in the city, but Long Branch, along with the Long Branch Free Public Library, will be hosting a Martin Luther King Day of Service Project event. It will be at the Long Branch Public Library from 11 to 1 p.m. This event will be in conjunction with the Martin Luther King Memorial Guild's Week of Activities. We're inviting all Long Branch families and children to assist in a service project for the local community. We'll be making mini libraries of books and donating to them to local homeless shelters and other locations that have a need for book. Light refreshments will be served, and we're hoping for a good turnout with that. The Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. Week activities, as Dr. Sully referred to, is January 16th through 21st. These events are coordinated by the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Guild. And I would just like to add that, and I know that Councilman Dangler is a part of that, I think it's unique to the state to have such a large schedule of events for the weekend. But on the 16th, there's a Martin Luther King program at Congregation Torah El. On Thursday night, the 17th, there's Gospel Night at Trinity AME Church on Liberty Street. On the 18th, there's a soul food dinner at the Portuguese Club. On the 19th is the Day of Service Project, which I referred to. On the 20th is a march from Martin Luther King Memorial Park to Second Baptist Church. After that is a church program at Second Baptist, but a lot of people just come to the march and don't necessarily go to the service. It's a very nice march that we've been doing for, what, Bill, 20 years or so?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then finally, on Monday, the 21st, the city and the Guild has its annual birthday observance at the Memorial Park on Atlantic Avenue. Also on the 21st, there's a basketball tournament at the high school that I think runs for most of the afternoon.
From 10 to 6.
What is it, Bill?
From 10 a.m. to
10 to 6, okay. I mentioned this. We had a reminder that we have a weekly email blast every Friday. You can sign up through our website, visit longbranch.org. Our weekly email blast is information from all departments, event and program flyers, and all information that is Long Branch related. I mention that because we've had a big uptick since we've been sort of talking about the email blast on the city. And I'm going off here, but it's one of the things, for example, that I'd like to mention about the employee who Ms. Rocky had talked about, because in addition to being a human resource manager and assistant to the business administrator, she's also been very active in our communications program, which is something we've talked about. Many of us have talked about here during the campaign, that we want to communicate more. And so that's why I mentioned that again. And another example is, for example, at the Bucky James Center at Christmas, the city always runs has a holiday party where they give out gifts and so forth, presents to all the kids. And that's been running for several years. And for the past several years, they've been giving out gifts to about 120 kids or so. This year, with the promotion that we've been doing and just reaching out on social media and every venues, we had 340 children. So that's almost 3 times the amount that we had, in the prior years. Just 2 other final things is in 2019, the City of Long Branch Property and Casualty Insurance Renewal, which was at the last meeting, which consists of general liability, automobile, police, public officials, and workers' compensation, will be flat from the expiring renewal and all coverages and deductibles remained the same so that there was not an increase, which is a significant amount of money. And finally, Jackson Woods, many of you may know that we applied for a grant. We were awarded a Monmouth County Municipal Open Space Grant in the amount of $200,000. We were just notified of that this week. That money will go towards a trail and other improvements in Jackson Woods. And then last week, I was just informed today, a new gazebo was delivered to Jackson Woods, and that will be placed in the park in the spring. So again, I just want to thank everyone for coming tonight, and have a great week.
And I'd like to just inform everyone that we started our Office of Volunteerism. We're in the beginning stages of it. It's a way to encompass the community, to be together and help one another. And if anyone's interested in being part of that, you can go on our website and sign up. We would love to have as many volunteers. We're going to be reaching out to many organizations throughout the city so that we can all work together for the same goals, to be there for one another. And I hope if you have the time to be involved, please do so. And again, I'd like to wish everyone a happy, healthy New Year, and we thank you for coming, and see you in 2 weeks. Thank you. I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.